Welcome in Advice Pod. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. I am joined today by my friend Raysean.
Yo, what is good?
And my friend and new third mic to the show, my friend Dave Nair. Dave, what's up, dude?
Yo, how's it going?
Hello. Welcome in, dude. Welcome. Happy to have you on. First post of the week, we're going to be doing an Am I the A-hole post? And this one's kind of long, but it was submitted by friend of the show, Sam Hitch, also another third mic on the show. We love her dearly. She sent me this, and I just saw the title, and I automatically said yes because it sounds hilarious. But it's a long post, boys, so strap in. It says, am I the asshole for filing for divorce because my husband over-tightens all the jar lids? His over-tightening jar lids has been an issue since he was just visiting at my house when we were dating. First, it started with just things he used, and then over time it became every damn glass jar with the metal lid. He tightened them so much I couldn't open them without assistance. It wasn't a huge deal if he was here, but if I was alone, it was so annoying. More times than I can count, I've opened a new jar of something because I couldn't get the jar open. So it's just easier to go to the store and buy a new jar of pickles as opposed to getting your own already bought pickles open. Understood. It's been a recurring cycle over the past 5 years. It's just a thing that would escalate until I had a major meltdown and freaked out, screaming, frustrated, and seemingly crazy because it's just a lid. Then it would get better for a while. Then it would slowly become an issue again. Just getting worse and worse until I reach a breaking point again. Sometimes I literally feel insane for being so upset over jar lids. He initially claimed that he did it to, quote, keep food fresh. After many arguments about it and my insistence that I don't believe it keeps anything fresh, and even if it does make things last longer, I don't care if it means I can't eat my freaking food when I want. I'll just replace things that go bad because they are closed normally. Then the excuse was that it's a habit. So about a month ago, my husband had a family emergency and had to travel out of state for 10 days. First day he's gone, I discover a jar I can't open. I was annoyed and was going to the store to buy new pickles. What did I just say? To buy new pickles when the neighbor said hi and to let him know if I needed anything while he was out of town.
Oh.
I said, wait here, and got the jar, which he opened. The next day I saw him outside and asked him to open another jar. He offered to come open all the jars.
Ooh.
I agreed, and he came in and he went to the fridge and opened all of the jars except 2, which he could not get open. That's good that she said that because for a minute I was just thinking she had exceptionally weak forearms. So I'm glad that she was like, another man also had a great level of difficulty opening these jars. I thanked him profusely and told him I'd bake some of his favorite cookies later in the week. He laughed and said it was no big deal. And after confirming that I wouldn't be upset if the remaining 2 jars were destroyed in his attempt to open them, he took them home to his garage to open them one way or another. This man is that's a dedicated neighbor.
This is some Paul Bunyan of the neighborhood. Jesus Christ.
Kind of, but I think maybe she's married to the Paul Bunyan of the neighborhood, hence all the over-tightened jars.
A good point. That was a bad metaphor. Yeah.
I like to think it's more of a Davy and Goliath kind of situation, wherein Goliath is the guy tightening the jars way too tight, and then this guy Davy.
Hey, Davy. It's like King Arthur. Well, no. I like David and Goliath. I was thinking he's all about the sword out of that thing, but
yeah, King Arthur pulls out.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that he's heard me screaming about over-tightened jar lids a few times over the years, and he's really pondered if I was crazy or if my husband was really over-tightening the jar lids. He said, this was intentional. It was every jar, and I'm sure he doesn't regularly use hot pepper paste or mango puree or any of your fancy cooking stuff. Then he held up the 2 jars he couldn't open and said, I don't know why he's doing it, but it wasn't an accident. Ooh, the plot thickens, dude. After he left, I locked the door and sat on my kitchen floor and cried. Oh, geez. Then I felt hot and light. Yeah, dude, this girl has been this man has been gaslighting her into thinking that she's just like crazy to be upset about not being able to open jars in her own home. This guy is playing like 4D chess, bro. After he left, I locked the door and sat on my kitchen floor and cried. Then I felt hot and lightheaded. I vomited in the trash can. My chest hurt. It crossed my mind that I might be having a heart attack. Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I thought about calling an ambulance, but sat back down on my kitchen floor instead. Okay, with just dying if it was a heart attack. This is over some fucking pickles?
She was okay
No,
with
this
that.
is this is not just over some pickles, and I hate that you just said that, Kyle.
You're right. You're right. Later, the neighbor came back with the open jar of hot fudge and apologized that he couldn't save the figs.
He might as well just fuck. Yeah, man.
I'm imagining that this is like a young girl, like in her like late 20s, early 30s, and this is like a middle-aged man and like his 50s, 60s, just being like, this girl's my daughter's age, and she's crying about jars that are over tightened all the time. I gotta save this crazy girl because I wasn't able to actually connect with my actual daughter.
No, we got two different ideas on this.
Yeah, we're always spinning different narratives. It's hilarious. We're almost done there, ladies and gentlemen. Later, the neighbor came back with the open jar of hot fudge and apologized that he couldn't save the figs. He said he broke the jar trying to get it open. He also apologized for what he said about my husband doing it on purpose. I assured him it was okay. I couldn't sleep that night, tossed and turned all night. I called out of work. By 10 a.m., I realized that I couldn't stay married anymore, and I made an appointment with the lawyer for the next day. There are literally no other issues, no cheating, no abuse. We had a good sex life. Both of us have good jobs, a nice house, no financial issues. He was absolutely blindsided when he came home and I told him I wanted a divorce.
Yeah, he was.
This sounds like the pilot episode of like single white financially successful lady who just got a fucking divorce because her husband did a ridiculous thing that is a joke but is actually the driving force to start the series.
Yeah, he's a goofball, and that you're going to see how much of a fuck up he is in the first few episodes. Then he's going to have
I'm saying she leaves him in the pilot.
Yeah.
He still won't admit that he tightened the lids on purpose. He suggested we go to marriage counseling, but I refused. There is no point. I just literally can't get past the goddamn jar lids. I still feel a little crazy about that. I have no idea why he would tighten every jar lid so tightly that I couldn't open it. He has given me no reason. He still won't even admit that he did it on purpose. But the hot pepper paste is in the back of the fridge. I use it only when I make Indian food. It's behind other things. He's never used it. It's nothing you could put in food without cooking it. The pepper paste could not have been an accident. Maybe he put mango puree on his toast or in his oatmeal, but the pepper paste couldn't have been an accident. This is making this fucking paragraph right here is a tell, dude. This ain't a real situation, but the pepper paste couldn't have been an accident. That's what my life has come down to. I'm getting a divorce because the lid to my hot pepper paste was over tight. If it had been every jar except that one, I could try. I could have a sliver of doubt. I could do something else, but I just can't get past the hot pepper paste. Dude, lay into that alliteration a little bit more. You want to be comedy writer? Most of our friends and family either think that I'm crazy or an asshole. What do you think? Oh man, I didn't realize that it was such a fucking. That's a television pilot right there, and this girl's gonna go on to get divorced and like check her jars at the end of every episode.
She's gonna be very successful in a few episodes.
Well, she's already been a successful person, but she's been married to the wrong person who's been ruining her fucking her food accessibility. You know,
via jars I don't know. And shit.
Ray, I feel like you probably have some solid advice to this person. What do you think?
Well, I honestly believe if someone's doing some shit you don't like, fuck them. You know what I mean? There's no point for you to be with them anyway. I would literally break up with somebody if I didn't like the way they breathe. So it's no point. The neighbor, he is definitely trying to fuck. I don't know what other vibes you could get from that. The man literally, he wants to come untighten every jar. Now he's coming over every day for this random shit. Now, like that's just interesting. The husband, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or not, but I feel like if you have a conversation with somebody and you talk to them about something that's bothering you more than one time and the shit just keeps happening, yeah, I would be happy to serve the divorce papers. I'll be like, it's no point for us to keep having this conversation. Like, it's like, apparently one of us just don't give a fuck. So we might as well just don't give a fuck separately. You know what I mean? So that's my best advice. I think you're going about it the right way. I feel like the only thing that makes it like, you don't even got to explain to people. Just say, I just got tired of this shit. I told him to stop. The motherfucker didn't want to stop. It ain't blindsided. Motherfucker shouldn't say he was blindsided because you've been saying this shit for the longest. I think the fact that you had you broke down and had a mental breakdown really proves that like this shit is eating you up. Like,
you don't think that this one fucking thing that this guy has been doing to make this girl is not, I don't want to say living hell. That's dramatic. Obviously it's a minor, it's an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience.
If it's mentally like fucking her up, like to the point where she feel like
realize like he left the state for 10 days for a family emergency. It says he comes back and all of a sudden his wife's like, I open all the jars that I want a divorce. I would be blindsided by something like that, regardless of the previous circumstance.
Okay, I also have I'm confused why there's the obvious answer wasn't approached, and I feel like if he should just not be closing the jars. That's the obvious answer. He should have closed the jars, period. And so if that was approached before, then he wouldn't have been blindsided. But I also feel like from what she described, it's just it ramped up very quickly, and I would have been totally blindsided.
What, you think so?
Okay, I have one thing that kind of peppered my thoughts from the very get-go, and it kind of shaded my thoughts.
Did it pepper paste your thoughts, Dave?
It got pepper paste all over my thoughts. No, I frequently close jars and can't open them. Like, I can't open the jars that I close, and it pisses me off a lot. And so I kind of feel for this guy, and I can see this happening. I just wouldn't be closing jars.
Nah, he over here tightening them with the strength of the Incredible Hulk. You got you got like neighbors coming from other towns trying to figure out who's stronger than like world's strongest competition with the jars type of shit. Like,
that makes me feel like, I don't know. I could see a guy just be like, haha, it's a cute thing that I keep fucking up these jars. And then like one day it's like, it's not cute, ass. Like, you're messing with my head, making me feel.
So I'm surprised nobody has brought this up, honestly. And I don't know.
It was a period of time when it was good, so he knows he's doing.
Yeah, he knew to back off a little bit. But here's why he went immediately back to this thing. I think this woman thinks that her husband is gaslighting her into thinking that she's too weak to live without him. I think that's probably where her brain is at. I can't open the jars. I can't be without my husband. Want to know what I really think is going on with her husband? And I only say this because his initial excuse or like explanation as to why he does this is because it keeps the food fresher longer. I seriously think he has some sort of, I don't know if this would technically be diagnosed as OCD, but it feels like it would be an OCD type behavior where you're so paranoid that things may go bad in your fridge that you go through your fridge when nobody else is home, when your wife's at work or whatever, and you literally just tighten them and you're like, all right, cool, my food is good. Now that could come from a place of like bacteria, you don't want to eat spoiled, expired food. It could also come from a fucking place of like, I don't know, sake of like completion kind of thing. Like, you guys watch The Boys at all? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get back into it.
One of the main characters in The Boys, Mother's Milk, has an OCD problem, and one of the like tells that he gives an example of is like he needs to make sure that he needs to check the stove burners 3 times a night to make sure that his stove is off, or else Soldier Boy is going to come kill his family, which is real dark shit. He also does like this tapping thing before he does things. This might just be some version of that for this guy, is like an OCD behavior where he needs to be able to check that stuff or else he feels like things will go wrong in his life. It's like a control thing. And I think his wife doesn't register the behavior and doesn't know to be like, hey, dude, you need to go talk to a psychologist. I think you have obsessive compulsive disorder. And he doesn't probably realize that he does either. He just thinks he's doing a normal thing that he's grown up doing his whole life. And this is the disconnect between these two motherfuckers right now. Is she an asshole? I think she's unintentionally gaslit herself, thinking that her husband gaslit her. That's how I think this happened. I don't think she's an asshole though. She's some mental fucking shit going on.
No, I don't think she's the asshole. And he need, if he do got a problem or anything, he need to go take that shit to his own house. That's just my opinion. My fault.
I do.
It is his house.
I do want to add though to what Kyle said.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I do want to add to what Kyle said though, because when we were first going through the scenario, I did immediately think even a lesser version of that kind of OCD thing, like I don't know, my dad or I, we just check jars if we're confused, like what's that thing? We just check the smell how it is. Even that, like you're not intentionally tightening it, but you opened it and then you accidentally closed it or something, and something like that. I just felt like having 100% of the jars tightened wasn't that much of a red flag on me. That seemed kind of reasonable for somebody who already has a history of over tightening jars.
I got one question for you guys, and I wonder if this is the difference between our thinking. Do you guys think it's this one time? Because how I read this, I feel like this is a continuous thing.
Yeah.
Like this been happening for years.
Yeah,
like
he
you know
says
what
that
I
in
mean?
the post.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we was on the same page on that. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a long-term obsessive compulsive behavior. His wife doesn't know what the fuck's going on with him. I don't think he does either, to be fair. But this is some OCD behavior.
Okay.
And
but do y'all still think he was blindsided though?
Yes, I do. I do think he genuinely had a right to feel blindsided, because it wasn't like his wife had threatened divorce over this in the past. She had this revelation while he's away handling a family fucking emergency for 10 days. He comes back and he's like, yeah, whatever. Let's say like his aunt or like his uncle died or something, for lack of, context of the situation. And then he's like, what do you mean you want a divorce? You cried over the pickle jar? What the fuck do you mean homeboy from next door had to come over and open the hot fudge for you? What does that even mean? Is this a euphemism?
No, he came and opened all the jars.
All of them.
Now, your husband and the neighbor beefing and shit. What the fuck you doing in my house? You shouldn't be fucking.
Fuck you opening up my wife's hot fudge jar for?
I'm gonna be here any day she need a jar open, so you better not over tighten them motherfuckers.
Hot fudge jar, hot judge far would be a funny name for a band, but only if you knew this particular podcast segment. I don't think I honestly think it's two people with some kind of mental, and this is probably because I talk to people with mental problems all day on the phone. It's really good for my mental health, but I think this is two mental people got some fucking undiagnosed issues, and the issues are clashing, I think, is what's happening. She got some issues too, man. She got some, I don't want to say bipolar. That wouldn't be right. Over a fucking jar of pickles?
I don't think she got issues. I feel like she's handling this like, I don't know. Maybe I have issues, because this is the same shit I would do. Like
as somebody who talks to you a lot, let's just say you're not issue free. How about that?
I don't know. I just know if some shit like this, I'll be probably ready to kill you, because it'd be
exactly. Yeah.
Or I have to keep explaining to you the same shit. Something like it just, I don't know. This would drive me insane. I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. It'd be after the coroner come, then they'd be like, you had a mental problem. For real? Shit, like Lord.
Oh shit, man. All right, well, that's advice for Monday. We don't think she's an asshole, but we do think you guys might be accidentally undiagnosed, and your issues, your diagnoses are clashing. Make sure you rate and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do that. It's good for us. If you want to leave your comments down below, let us know what you think. Is this lady an asshole? Maybe she is. If she isn't, do you agree with us? Do you think she's crazy as well? Crazy's a fucking bad word. I mean, I need to remove that shit from my vernacular.
Dude,
but
same. I've been trying really hard.
Nah, you can still use the word, but you can't use it to describe people, because it's an automatically negative connotation. You know what I mean?
That's
but like at
not
the same time, some motherfuckers are just crazy. So
I think you should
but what if that
describe them that.
Yeah. I think that's nicer. That's better. Yeah.
So make sure you come back tomorrow, where we're going to be answering a question from r/questions. It's going to be about the most famous people we have ever met.
Oh,
I feel like I met I have a couple stories. I feel like they've probably been brought up on the show before, but I'll talk about Jason Segel again. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
All right. So tune back in tomorrow for more advice.
And remember, don't be a butt cheek.